in the final stretch of the NBA season, and here's what we know so far. In the West, the reigning champs have locked the first seed for the third straight season, which means the Spurs are now locked into 2, Timberwolves are locked into 6, Suns are locked in at play-in at 7, and the Warriors at 10. In the East, the only seed all locked up, the Pistons, who will have home court advantage throughout the playoffs as they lock the top seed this past weekend. And with the countless possibilities in the East, we start there. The Celtics and Knicks play tonight in the Garden. It will be Jason Tatum's first time back at MSG since he tore his Achilles in May of last season. He spoke about his return earlier today at Shoot-Around. Take a listen.
Nervousness, anxiousness, all the things you probably would expect the last time I played here.
Joining us now, our senior writer who covers both the Celtics and the Knicks, Tim Bomteds. Likes to see you. And, of course, our NBA champion with the 2008 Celtics, Big Perk, Kendrick Perkins in the house. I'm MJ Acosta-Ruiz, in for Malika Andrews today. All right, Tim, Jaylen Brown has already been ruled out tonight with left Achilles tendonitis. What's Tatum's mindset tonight in his return to MSG?
Well, Tatum talked the other night after Boston's win at home over Charlotte, and he obviously isn't thrilled about the concept of going back to MSG for the first time since tearing that Achilles in Game 4 of their conference semifinal series against the Knicks last year. But I do think it's good for both he and the Celtics to get this game out of the way, particularly with the Knicks and Celtics potentially going to face off in the conference semifinals again this year in a few weeks. Now, as you mentioned, Jaylen Brown's been dealing with his Achilles tendonitis for a while. He's been in and out of the lineup. He's not going to play today. A few other guys are questionable, Derek White and Neemias Queta. So we'll see who's out there with Tatum. But I think it'll be good for him to get back into the Garden, go through a warm-up, go through a game, check another box off the list. And as you guys have seen over the past few weeks, he's checked a lot of boxes off and has looked awfully, awfully good in his return from this injury less than a year after he suffered it.
Yeah, nothing intimidates that man. Let's focus in on the game here, Perk. Which team needs to prove more tonight?
It's the Knicks. The Knicks need this win like I need my diabetic shot every week. That's how bad they need this win, in the worst way, to prove to themselves that they belong and also prove to the Knicks fan base. Because let's be honest, over the last 6 or 7 weeks, they haven't had a real statement win to let the world know that they're, quote-unquote, a real legitimate threat in the Eastern Conference. And so as you're going into the postseason and you're looking at a team that's favored you're going against a team that's favored to win the East and the Boston Celtics, you want to come out at home tonight and make a statement. And you want to have a feel-good moment, especially on the defensive end. You want to build some type of continuity, some type of togetherness to let the world know and to let your own self know that you're on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, look, to Perk's point, the win the Knicks had over the Hawks the other day was their first good win in a while. So obviously it'd be good for them to build some momentum. The other part of this that is going to be interesting, though, over the next couple of days is where the Knicks and the Cavs are going to end up in the standings, because they're neck and neck right now for the 3rd and 4th seeds in the conference. And by the way, being the 4 seed means you don't have to play the Boston Celtics. Right now, I think everybody's presumed favorite to get out of the East until an Eastern Conference Finals matchup. So the Knicks have 3 games in a row, tonight against Boston, tomorrow against Toronto, and then Sunday against Charlotte, that are all at home and are all against teams that are competing for something. The Cavs, meanwhile, play the Hawks again tomorrow in Atlanta, and then they play Sunday against the Wizards, who are certainly not likely to be trying to win that game, so that should be a win for the Cavs. So it'll be interesting to see, especially if the Knicks lose tonight, do they try to maneuver themselves a bit in the standings, try to get that 4 seed and avoid having to face Boston until the conference finals in a few weeks.
It's a risky game no matter how you slice it. All right, Tim, thanks so much. And you mentioned that the Celtics have won 11 of 13 and now installed as plus 160 favorites to win the East, according to DraftKings Sportsbook. They are followed in short order by the Cavs, Knicks, and Pistons. So let's get to some of the action last night in the East. And we're starting with Hawks, Cavs. Donovan Mitchell hosting the Hawks in a potential first-round matchup. I don't know, because Mitchell was going off. Buzzer beaters left and right. This was just the first.
I mean, look, he's going to make an all-NBA team this year. We know that Donovan Mitchell, he's one of the greatest regular season players that we've seen, one of the best offensive players that we've seen. But guess what? He's got to show up and show out in the postseason.
Yeah, if you're counting at home, that was 2 buzzer beaters. Here's the third one of the night coming in the third quarter.
That's a big-time playoff performances, just hasn't broken through to get past the second round.
31 points on the night as the Cavs hang on to win 122-116. The final. Hey, give us a little something extra. Love it. Phenomenal. All right, so to the top of the conference. Cade Cunningham made his return last night after his collapsed lung, which he suffered on March 17th. Check this out.
Back like he forgot something.
Like who? He was gone? I mean, incredible.
That's what you want to see, right? When a guy like that comes back, you want to see how they looking as far as their movement up and down the floor, how they, getting involved with the facilitating. The best thing, to me, a blessing in disguise, Tim, that happened with the Pistons and Cade being injured is that we were able to see the confidence of others grow offensively.
Janice Jenkins, in particular, had really won a lot of games with him as the lead guy.
Here's Cade. And developing story that could affect seeding, the Sixers announced that big man Joel Embiid has been ruled out tonight against the Rockets with an illness. It will be Embiid's 42nd missed game this season. Philly is currently fighting to get out of the play-in tournament. They are one game behind the Raptors, who are at 6. All right, welcoming in our senior writer, the one and only Tim McMahon is here with us to join the conversation. Perk, I'm going to start with you here. Looking at the conference as a whole, you said yesterday right here that Donovan Mitchell is under the most pressure this postseason. Why is that?
Did I lie? I mean, did I tell a lie?
We can disagree. I believe you were honest in your assessment.
Well, I mean, when you look at all the young superstars around the league, he's the one, to me, under the most pressure. Again, one could argue that the Cavs has done more for him than they did for LeBron James, as far as putting the personnel around him so that he can have a legit shot to making a legitimate run. Again, Donovan Mitchell has never led a team to a conference finals. Donovan Mitchell has never played with a guy like James Harden in the backcourt because James Harden has become one of the best facilitators. And so now I'm looking for Donovan Mitchell to take that leap, not only just as a player and a playmaker, but as a leader, right? Can you get the best out of Jared Allen and Evan Mobley defensively? Can you bring that dog out of them defensively? Because it's going to be needed.
To your point, though, Tim, you said you disagree with him.
Well, listen, here's the deal. The Knicks are always under the most pressure, okay? Just because of the circumstances that they exist in, especially the conference finals wasn't enough. They broke through, got to the conference finals. That just got their coach fired. So conference finals isn't enough. The expectations are finals or bust. That's very clear. And Karl Anthony Towns is not the face of the franchise, but he is the guy who is under the most pressure. There's been a disconnect between him and his new coach, Mike Brown, all season long. Too often, he is not involved at all in the offense. And if they don't break through, what's next for Cat? It might be a relocation.
Well, let me say this. I don't disagree with you for as Cat, and it might be being a relocation. But when you talk about pressure for the Knicks, I feel like the pressure leans more towards Mike Brown. Mm-hmm. Because the one thing that the Knicks have struggled with this entire season, they've been up and down, the identity crisis. Right. We knew who they were under Tom Thibodeau. We knew that every single night they were going to lock in defensively and they was going to play their best, their hardest brand of basketball. The thing with Mike Brown is that him and Cat relationship has been up and down. It's been a roller coaster all season long. I don't want to see Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby and Josh Hart initiating offense. The 1-2 punch is Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. When you get Karl Anthony Towns involved early, you're going to get the best version of him. He's the emotional guy, and like I always say, some people just want to feel love. He's one of those guys that just want to feel love.
Even the big dudes need love too.
Yeah,
Perk, I feel you. All right, the former East champs got some good news. And directly from the source yesterday, in case you missed it, Tyrese Halliburton posted about playing 5-on-5 today for the first time since June. That's 291 days ago, Perk.
I mean, look, shout out to Tyrese. The good thing about it is that he don't have to worry about the postseason.
Facts. All right, still to come. They've got 8 titles between the two of them, but will either win another one? It's all been said and done. We're going to get into the drive for 5 for Steph and LeBron. Plus, we can't look at the past without looking into the future. What exactly makes Darius Acuff so special and pro-ready? A tape breakdown is on deck, and Big Perk's big list on the best basketball players of this era. Hey, say that 3 times fast.
Easiest list I've done all season.
You'll be shocked by who made the cut. Playoff seeds were locked in last night, starting in L.A. The Thunder beat the Clippers to clinch the top spot in the West and home court throughout the playoffs. It's their 3rd straight postseason at the top of the Western Conference. Tim, do people appreciate this dominance for the 3-year run?
Yeah, listen, let's talk about the last 2 years. Only the Jordan Bulls and the prime Steph Warriors have more wins over a 2-year span than Oklahoma City Thunder. Clinched the top overall seed again. 19-1 in the last 20 games, rolling going into the playoffs.
In Orlando, the Timberwolves lost to the Magic. That locks them into the 6th seed. Ant, Randall, and Gobert all set out. Perk, what's your outlook for Minnesota in the post?
I don't know. They're the biggest mystery in the Western Conference. We're talking about a team that went to the conference finals last year, expected to take that leap, but been inconsistent, especially on the defensive side. Can't Julius Randle be a Robin? Is Rudy going to be that defensive player that we know instead of crying about the damn basketball?
In Phoenix, Suns beat the Mavs. Check Kaman Malawach's block on his former Duke teammate Cooper Flagg. Not up in here. Suns lock up the 7th seed. Phoenix will host either the Clippers or Blazers to start the play-in tourney. Tim, which matchup do you want to see?
You know, here's the deal. I really think about which Clippers matchup do I want to see. Kawhi going back and playing against the Spurs for the first time in the playoffs since he left, or Shea versus the Clippers. Flip a coin. Either one will be fun.
Thanks.
Right, we have news out of the Bay. Steph Curry is out tonight against the Lakers. He played the last 2 games after missing the previous 27 games with a knee issue. The Warriors are on the front end of a back-to-back with just 3 games left in the regular season. So, with LeBron James in town facing the Warriors, we have both Anthony Slater and Dave McMenamin, who will be at the Chase Center tonight as well. So let's start with the home team, fellas. Steph is out. So, Anthony, what's the plan for him this weekend?
Ruining some entertainment value, right? We're going to get 0 LeBron James against Steph Curry games this season. But, the Warriors always plan to rest them on one side of this back-to-back, obviously coming off this knee injury that forced him out 27 games. They decided late morning today they prefer to play him tomorrow night in Sacramento. That will allow him to play with Kristaps Porzingis, who's also resting because he hasn't been cleared for back-to-back. So he's resting tonight, playing tomorrow is the expectation. They've only played 8 minutes together. They need to get some reps prior to next Wednesday night when they already know they're going to be the 10 seed. They're going to be on the road either in Portland or LA against the Clippers or Blazers in the play-in. So I expect basically dress rehearsals Friday night in Sacramento, Sunday afternoon in LA against the Clippers to get ready to play with their season on the line.
Now, on the Lakers side, LeBron James set out their last game against OKC. Dave, how is LeBron handling the increased role with Luka and Austin Reeves out?
MJ, is not completely different than what he was doing before. He's still not bringing the ball up. That's now in Luke Kennard's hand. He had 20 assists over the last 2 games. They hope to get Marcus Smart back tonight. He's missed the last 8 games with a variety of injuries. LeBron James will be asked to be a screener in the half court, play off the ball, and continue if the Lakers get steals and deflections and long defensive rebounds, go out and try to score in transition. He certainly recognizes the moment the Lakers are in. They're a game and a half back of the Denver Nuggets for the number 3 seed. That's really like a half a game because the Lakers have the tiebreaker over Denver. Even though J.J. Redick the other day said seeding's kind of out the window, there's still a pathway for the Lakers to end up on the top side of the Western Conference bracket. If they take care of Golden State starting tonight, home against Phoenix tomorrow, and then they close out against an easy opponent Sunday in the Utah Jazz.
All right, so you're saying there's a chance. All right, Dave and Anthony, thank you both. All right, so bummer, of course, no Steph Curry tonight, but LeBron should be out there for the Lakers, Perk. So with Luka and Reeves out for the foreseeable future, do you see them running it back next year?
Who, bro? Hell
Why
no.
you laughing?
Not with the Lakers. Not with the Lakers, and he shouldn't. It's time for them to part ways. And yes, I understand a lot of whispers that he could be going back to Cleveland, but I've been wanting to get this off my chest.
Uh-oh.
Please,
You know what I mean?
save space.
If I'm Braun, I would really, really consider going to play my last year with the New York Knicks.
Huh.
Could you imagine what that would do for the game of basketball, for the NBA? When you talk about the economic side of things, how much money that's going to bring to the table. But Braun finishing out his career in the Mecca, in Madison Square Garden, And on top of that, the Knicks still have a roster where you add a LeBron James, yeah, you might have to give up some pieces. You going out with still having a legit shot at making a championship run. So if I'm Braun, I'm weighing all my options. I'm hollering at World Wide West and Leon Rose and seeing what's happening. Big Body Brunson, I know you got to lock in on the postseason, but if you're watching this, think about this for a minute. You know what I mean? Get a chance to still play with LeBron James. I know he's on his way out, but he still got a lot left in the tank. He still could go out there and give you 25 and 5.
I'm not ready to eliminate the Lakers as a possibility. Now, hey, at the All-Star break, I would have said no way in hell. You know, they need to move past LeBron to restructure that roster. Now I think it comes down to what kind of deal, how much of a financial haircut is LeBron willing to accept. Remember, they went 15-2 in March. They had that pecking order. He was thriving as that third option. He's still got all the business interests here. He's still got his son on the roster. I'm not ready to completely rule out LeBron, but they need a lot of that salary that he's making to put other places to build out that supporting cast. It ain't good enough right now.
Tim, Braun coming back to the Lakers does absolutely nothing for Braun. I mean, if you want to go out, you want to go out with a bang.
Oh, they don't have any bang around here?
I mean, I'm saying you either want to go back to where it all started at in Cleveland, or again, go test the waters out there in New York. You talk about a pay cut, but can you imagine how much money LeBron James will make in the city of New York City? I mean, just think about it for a second, and then we'll talk about it after the show.
No, because that makes me upset. I like 4 days since the UCLA women's basketball team won its first NCAA championship in school history by blowing out South Carolina in the title game. And how lucky are we to welcome in starting point guard of the national champs, All-American, Kiki Rice is in the building. Look at her signing our wall. Come on through, Kiki. And dressed appropriately in the color. The champ is here. There she is. Kiki, we're so excited to have you. Welcome into NBA Today. Sit down, get cozy.
Thank you.
Let's literally Kiki for a minute, if you will. Quite a week for you. Celebrations galore. Jimmy Kimmel, you've been at the Lakers game, at the Clippers game. We'll get into that. But what has this week and this experience been like for you?
Yeah, this has been totally incredible. I mean, to feel all the love, the support that we've been able to get over these past few days has been so much fun. And to end our season on such a high note has been fantastic. One
of the really special moments in this UCLA win is that the scoring from the Final Four really came from the seniors, the graduating students. How did that veteran leadership really help guide this team to a title?
Yeah, I mean, look, we have such an incredible group of seniors who have been here for a really long time. We've committed to this program. We've given so much. And for us to be able to go out there and just really finish the season out in our careers at UCLA on such a high note, we couldn't have written it any better. And it felt good to just leave it all out there on the court.
Yeah, literally best case scenario. Truly couldn't ask for anything more. Obviously, no slowing down for you because now we're just literally days away from the WNBA draft in New York City. How are you feeling heading into the draft?
I honestly don't feel like I've been able to process everything just because, obviously trying to celebrate the championship, but also knowing that the draft is coming around. So, packing up my apartment, all that. But, just excited for a new opportunity to get to a new city, to see where I'll end up, and to get to New York.
Yeah, I mean, who needs to sleep? One thing I'm sure you have planned out is the draft night outfit.
Yes, that's
what can
coming
we
along.
expect? Don't give me anything. I want to be surprised. But what can we expect? What's the vibe?
Can't tell you all too much because I know it's going to be a surprise. It's going to be something special, but expect something really pretty. And yeah, just excited to show you all what I put on.
Just a big moment. Oh, I can't wait. You know I love a fit check. All right. So we mentioned earlier that you were at both the Lakers and the Clippers games this week. Both games just happened to be against the Thunder. Of course, your boyfriend, Cason Wallace, he plays on the team. You guys did a jersey swap.
Yeah.
So cutesy.
Thank you.
What was sharing that experience together like for you?
It was really special. I mean, he's been so supportive of me, and I love to go to his games. He comes to mine whenever he can. But it's just been super cool to share a lot of moments with him and to be able to swap our jerseys afterwards. It was pretty fun. I feel like I've been following him around over these past few days. I've been at both of the games. But no, it's been really cool, and he's very congratulatory of our team, of our program, and it was just fun to be able to share some moments with him.
Yeah, he, of course, was repping you with a T-shirt.
Yes, he was. I appreciated that.
Don't tell him this or maybe do, but I do call him Kiki Rice's boyfriend.
Love that.
My little ode. But we do have a fun game since you're both ballers here that we're calling Cason or Kiki? So we'll have a few questions here, just rapid fire, and you tell me if the answer is Kaysen or Kiki. So here we go. Who had the better championship celebration?
Kiki.
Period. Who is more trustworthy to hit a game-winning shot?
Got to go with myself, too.
Who plays better defense?
I'm going to give that to Kaysen. Yep.
All right, fine. He gets one. Who has better pregame outfits?
Definitely Kiki. Definitely me.
I know that's right. And who has the better pregame playlist?
I feel like Kaysen might have that one. Yeah, I'll give him that.
Okay, we will need the list sent to us. Thank you so much. Who makes the better postgame meal?
Kiki, because he cannot cook.
Okay, so compare yourself perhaps to a WNBA player.
That's tough. I mean, I feel like I've always been someone who I love to watch the WNBA, but I also love to just take little pieces of different games. And I just want to watch all the best point guards, all the best guards in the W, and see what I can learn from each one of them, because I feel like I've been able to really grow my game by watching and, looking up to the best guards in the game.
Yeah, and making it your own.
Yeah,
your
exactly.
own standard. Kiki, my girlfriend, so excited. Good luck, of course, at the draft, and we are so excited for you. Congratulations on
Thank you.
everything. The NCAA tournament has come and gone. So here's a look at Jeremy Wu's big board, updated today with A.J. Diabonte moving past Darren Peterson into that #1 spot and off huge NCAA tournament runs. Keaton Wagler and Darius Acuff Jr., they have moved up as well, now both in the top 6. And making his NBA Today debut and bringing his segment along with him, former Baylor star guard and ESPN college basketball analyst, El Rey, King McClure is here. Welcome, King.
I'm just honored to be here on this stage with you guys. To be in Berg's vicinity, I am honored.
No, it's going to be so, so good. And King, there is one player that you really want to highlight, someone who caught your attention after a huge NCAA tournament run. Who is that?
Big Perk, you're going to like this one a whole lot. Darius Acuff Jr.
Damn right I do.
When you watch this young man, of course he can score the ball, of course he can facilitate, but when you break down the details, the one area which I was so impressed is his ability to play with pace in the pick and roll. Let me take you into King's Court and show you what I mean. So on this side pick and roll, High Point tries to ice. This is bad defense because you don't get to the ice. You still allow him to go middle. So when he goes middle, right, number 12 sets the ball screen, number 3 is still on his hip. So when Darius Acuff comes off, I want you to pay attention to the pace. That hesitation, along with his eyes, now makes the big go back. He goes from 0 to 100 and explodes to the rim. So now, let's take you into King's Court and I'll show you what Darius Acuff saw. So we're on the side. We're in this pick and roll. Javi is going to be my primary defender. He's guarding me. We got Tim setting the screen, so we're on the same team. And we got Big Perk, who's done this a million times. He's going to be the big and drop coverage. And me, of course, I'm the main character. I'm Darius Acuff. Let's get to it. So I'm coming off this ball screen. They try to ice, but it's not successful. I get to ice in the next play. So right here, I come off this ball screen. Tim does not do a great job of really knocking the defender off because he still gets around. I'm sorry, Tim. You got to do a better job, all right? So when I come off, he's still making contact. He is still on my hip, but I want you to pay attention to this. When he gets to the middle of the floor right here, you look at his eyes. He's looking at Big Perk. He's reading, all right? And now this hesitation, this stop, makes Big Perk go back to Tim, which frees up the lane, and his ability to go from 0 to 100 in a split second to get to the rim is what makes him elite. And then I know you saw the finish. It was very Kyrie-esque. And when you see that, that right there is what differentiates him. Let's go to the next play because I have another play that's kind of similar, but a little different. They actually get to the ice this time. So icing means you keep everything on the side. So now you flip the ball screen and it's one-on-one. See how open the paint is right there? It's one-on-one. Darius Acuff versus the big, and 9 times out of 10, Darius Acuff is not being stopped by any big, all right? So let's get back into the pick and roll coverage. Same setup. Now, when you talk about icing, the difference is, Javi, you're going here. Javi is not going to allow me to get middle, because when you get middle, all bad things happen, especially when it's Darius Acuff. So now, as a result of the ice, my big, you got to flip the ball screen. But has to go, instead of going to the sideline, has to go to the baseline. And Big Perk, what did you see from the big in the ice coverage?
Well, first, he wasn't up to touch. And on a dynamic guard like Darius Acuff Jr., you want to be up to touch to give yourself an advantage. But the big gave this much space in the ice coverage, and then
way too much space. So now, these two people are eliminated. It becomes one-on-one, me versus Big Perk. I promise you, I'm probably going to win this 9 times out of 10. Not in Perk's heyday, though, all right? So now, Darius Acuff, he gave him too much space. He splits it right here, and now he can explode to the rim with a Kyrie-esque finishing. I mean, when you look at his reads off of pick and roll and how he changes pace, I think that's what differentiates him, along with his scoring and facilitation. Perk, I know you love this guy.
Oh, absolutely. He is one of the most dynamic guards in this draft. And look, let me tell you this. Don't make that mistake that they did with guys like Tyrese Maxey. If you're a team that's in the top 5 and you're looking for a point guard, Darius Acuff Jr. is your guy.
Whew. You heard it here first. Mic drop. Nothing more to say.
Acuff will be a force to be reckoned with in the NBA. But, fellas, I think we glossed over the moment at the very top of the big board. We lost the plot. BYU's A.J. Diabata has taken over Kansas's Darren Peterson for that #1 pick. This is from our draft expert, Jeremy Wu. King, do you agree that Diabata should be the #1?
Yeah, I do. And I think towards the tail end, he showed it. I mean, when you have a guy like Richie Saunders, who means so much to his team, go out, and now it's really just A.J. Diabata and Rob Wright out there, the way that Diabata was able to carry his team. I mean, we talk about his scoring and how he led the nation in points, but his facilitation. He doesn't get enough credit for what he can do as far as dropping dimes, setting his teammates up for success. How many times did we see the lob to Keita time and time again? At 6'9", with his skill set, I mean, I think he is one of the most unique prospects in this draft, if not the most unique.
I agree. And look, at 6'9", 6'10", obviously all the things that you pointed out, but you know the thing that impresses me the most is he gives me KG-type vibes. And when I say Kevin Garnett-type vibes, not the game, but the motor, the tenacity, never take plays off. He doesn't get enough credit for the pride that he takes on the defensive side of things. And if I'm building a franchise and I'm looking for a guy that's 6'9", 6'10", 3-level scorer, obviously he can work on his three-point shot. That's going to get better. I'm definitely taking him with the #1 pick. Damn sure not taking Darian Peterson, although I love his skill set, but his mental and his mentality showed me otherwise this season.
You know, Perk, when you talk about Darren Peterson, I'm glad that you brought him up, right? Because they have him, Jeremy Wu has him #2. Me personally, I have him #4. I don't think that Darren Peterson is the best guard in this year's draft. I think too many times we overcomplicate this. We overcomplicate it, right? Men lie, women lie, numbers do not. Let's compare Darius Acuff to Darren Peterson. Darius Acuff is better in every single category except rebounding. All right? And we talk about the size. I think that we got enamored too much by Darren Peterson's shot-making ability, and all of a sudden people build a narrative, and we run with it, and we do too much. But let's not overcomplicate it. When you look at the numbers, the man to the left is a bad boy. Not saying Darren Peterson isn't. However, let's just not overcomplicate it when the numbers tell us a different story.
You know what we got to get back to in our game in the NBA is valuing the quarterbacks of basketball. That is the point guard position. And make no mistake about it, this year Darius Acuff Jr. was the best point guard in college.
It's not close.
And so when you talk about shooting 48% to 50% from the field, 40% from the three, but being able to get others involved, and I understand his measurements, he may not be 6'6", he may not be 6'8", 6'9", he's 6'3", 6'2", but the way that he plays with his IQ, I just wish that we get back to valuing the point guard position like we used to back in the day.
Yeah, I didn't know where you were going at first there. I'm glad we got to the numbers, all right? I could have taken a left turn real quick. All right, coming up, Ramona Shelbourne's exclusive sit-down with...
Thrilled to go back and play there.
Tatum is down. He wants a timeout. Tatum in so much pain.
It was a traumatic experience for me.
And you see the concern, Jason Tatum distraught right now.
It was a traumatic day. The most important thing is that I'm 100% recovered and healthy.
In terms of as what I've seen, he looks pretty damn good.
The place is going crazy, rightfully so.
I decided to come back and play, so just another game on the schedule.
No doubt a big game for Tatum, both physically and mentally. Let's take a closer look at the Celtics. He and Jaylen Brown have scored 20-plus points in the same game 197 times. That's the second most by a duo in Celtics history, behind Bird and Gale only. With Tatum missing most of the season, Brown is averaging career highs in points, rebounds, and assists in his 10th NBA season. In fact, he's scoring over 6.5 more points a game than he did last year. And that's thanks to Brown putting up 35 30-point games this season, fifth most in a season in Celtics history. Only Tatum, Bird, and John Havlicek have more 30-point games in a Celtics season. Jaylen Brown is out tonight, but he opened up to Ramona about forces.
With the third pick in the 2016 NBA Draft, the Boston Celtics select Jaylen Brown from the University of California, Berkeley.
What is Jaylen Brown going to bring to the Boston Celtics?
I'm going to go to war for the city.
How many days had you spent in the city of Boston before you said that?
None. But that's just, I guess, an example of who I've been and who I've always been from day one. Maybe in another life, I was a warrior, actually. I've always carried myself that way. And that's just, when you get Jaylen, that's what you get.
It's over. Time to say it again, Boston. Anything's possible. Banner number 18 has been secured.
Jaylen, do you feel like you went farther this year than you've ever gone before in terms of pushing yourself to your own limits?
Yeah, well, I feel like I prepared for this year in a great way with just getting my body ready, coming off of knee surgery. One of my toxic traits is that I have a hard time letting people see me weak. Like, I kind of isolated myself from my family and my friends, went to another level mentally in order to prepare myself for what was in front of me. It was a rebuild, right? Maybe not from a mindset and organizational standpoint, but I also looked at it as an opportunity to show the world who I am and what I could possibly do.
Oh, my goodness! Jaylen Brown detonates on the Thunder.
When did you get into all this, into astrology and into numerology, and why?
I've always loved astronomy. The stars have been something I've been into. But this season, we lost half of our roster. So, I was exploring different ways to lead our group. But I started combining different forms and kind of putting them into like this cocktail where you combine numerology with astrology, with human design, and made a chart of all my teammates. And then with the use of all of these knowledge systems kind of in combination, you can kind of communicate better, lead better, and understand better.
Tell me about Joe. I'm curious.
I can't tell you about all my team because they don't have
Oh, yeah, I get it.
You know what I mean? So